Hello, hello. Welcome to the first live edition of the Pep Talk, and from my car. It would be super hard to get a quiet moment inside right now, but I really wanted to do this one and share some stuff with people that I've just been thinking about or feeling these last couple days. In the future, here around the corner is Third and Bird. Amazing event. Winnipeg is really lucky to have it. When I was on the website, though, I was looking for Black-owned businesses, and just probably the diversity flags going off in my mind, and I couldn't maybe I couldn't sense like a distinction between anything, and so I wrote them on social media, and they were fantastic and so responsive, and just shared that it was kind of a group decision that. People didn't want to be like on their application process that it didn't need to be just about that, that the product, needed to stand on its own. And, I thought it was a really fair response. And I actually reached out to a couple of the vendors, and they were also sharing some similar feelings that they don't ever want to be put in a spot either where they're super uncomfortable and they can't be proud of who they are. And that's whether it's race or being part of the LGBT community, regardless. But they also don't want to be defined by it, that their product and their business should also speak for itself. And so I had put something out on my story, and what I thought was interesting was it was like 90% responded that it's important to reference that. And so a bit of a mixed, contradiction in the situation, that people kind of feel like that, but yet maybe the people that are actually going through it maybe don't feel like that. And it made me realize again that these are not simple matters, and that everyone comes from a different walk of life, and that it might be really important to some people where maybe it's not as important to others, but it's not meant as an offense or something to set people back. But on the other hand, people might not understand why it's so important to reference it, why it's so important to celebrate it. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an exercise for people to do in their mind. And I actually did this online. So bear with me if I screw it up a little bit. But imagine that you were like with a group of people and you got to be a part of maybe a work event or something, and there's 40 of you, and you guys are all split up into, teams of 3, and you were all given supplies, and your job was to make like the coolest poster that you could make. That's it. That's your job. You're all given different supplies. Some people get like pencil crayons. Some people get like glitter, markers, the whole works, a glue gun with, I was going to say sprinkles, but I'm thinking baking. All the works though, and some people have maybe like a pencil crayon. And as you're doing your exercise, the leader says, okay, whoever does the best one is also going to win $1,000. So keep going and whatnot. And all of a sudden you start looking around and you start thinking, well, what in the world's going on? Why do I have pencils and I have to make the same project as this other group over here who has like 28 supplies? And so then you keep going, and then someone comes and actually just takes some of your stuff away. And so you're now stuck with even less supplies than you were before. And possibly between the groups, there's animosity that's building up. And basically at the end of the day, you'll see what the final products are like. Everyone shows their final product, and there's a good chance that the people that had all the supplies had a better project than the folks that had the lesser of the supplies. For the ones that were able to think extra hard or work extra hard or figure out a way to use those pencils or pencil crayons in some extraordinary way, kudos to them, because they were able to figure it out, and they were able to somehow work harder, think stronger, do something different to get recognized. And this is kind of why I feel like it's so important to recognize all different kinds of backgrounds when there's something like entrepreneurship or whether it's being an athlete, all those things, because we're all given different resources at the beginning of life, whether we want to accept it or not. I had an awesome friend, Amanda. She came over the other night and she said, I'm for sure privileged. And I was talking to these people and they were like, our son doesn't think they're privileged. And she was thinking, of course I am. I never had to worry about food being in my fridge. I never had to worry about having the right shoes for a sport team I was on. I never had to worry about getting to school. Like all the things in her mind that people don't realize is such a privilege. You're worried about getting good grades. Some people are worried about getting to school. And, so again, not to say that the color of our skin or the cultural matter like of who we are says like defines the resources we had in life. And to be honest, I also was oblivious to it the first chunk of my life because my parents were so good at showing me that that money can't buy you like all the good stuff. Oh, they would show me how exciting it was to actually make money, to be able to attain things. I had the control of doing that on my own. Anyways, the reason I say that is I think I had a really lovely chat today with some gentlemen. I don't want to say their company because I don't know if that's allowed, but they make really cool suspenders and bow ties. And they were just saying that, yeah, we don't want to be defined by the fact that we are in a gay relationship or that we have diverse backgrounds. I believe one is Indigenous and one is Asian. There's all these categories that you could fill out for that. But we don't want to be defined as that. Our product is good enough that it doesn't need to require that. And I really respected that as well. On the other hand, I think there's room to understand that when someone has had a battle in life that I will never understand, that there is something to be celebrated for getting over those hills and mountains and believing in yourself. And I almost got a little choked up because I can't imagine growing up in a community where I thought people didn't believe in me. And I had so many people that did, and so many people that celebrated the fact that I was different. So I guess I just want there to be room for conversation around this, that it's not always an attack on different people. And I thought I got some really nice feedback. People sent me messages about this. But that there's room for conversation around it, because everyone grows up in a different way, in a different context, with different challenges. I would say check your privilege a lot, like really check it to the things that you don't even understand, that you didn't realize that putting on a pair of socks was a privilege, because it is. But at the same time, maybe just having that conversation with that business or those people and understand why things are important to them. And even if it's not a business, maybe it's just a friend that's doing something, and why is their cultural identity important or not important to them? And the guilt trip probably around that has to stop either way. Again, these are my 2 cents, but it's just interesting when you start to talk to people, you realize there's such good things in people's heart and there's not a lot of poor intention. But there's just there's a lack of conversation, and COVID probably doesn't help that because we're literally not able to talk to one another a lot. But, anyways, so I wanted to share that. This is my pep talk session in the car. It's raining outside. I'm really, again, Thanksgiving, I'm really, really grateful to have the people who celebrated my differences, because it feels like it allowed me, like, I love doing it. I love celebrating my differences. Does that make me, is that the reason why I was successful? No. Do I feel like on my own merit, I want to be successful professionally, even when I was growing up athletically? Yes. But also I understand that there are people that look like me that have not had a smooth path. And if I am able to help them and pull them up a little bit, I want to do that. So, that's my 2 cents for today. Shoot me a DM if you want to chat about it. I do encourage, again, if you're going to comment on this, to try to keep it in not necessarily positive, but constructive. And and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. All right. Mwah.